All right, sorry for the delay. We are ready to call the meeting to order of the Akron Public Schools Board of Education for July 10th, 2017. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alexander.
Present.
Mr. Bravo.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Otterman.
Yes.
Reverend Walker.
Present.
Ms. Walsh.
Here.
All right, and leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight is the NJROTC, formerly at Garfield, and now this year to be at Ellett. We'll go ahead and bring in the colors if everyone could stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Opposed? Colors? Color guard. All. Opposed to colors. Ready. 2. Oh, bow. Face. Forward. Large. Mark time. Mark. Order. Come. Cut. Right. Pace. Maze. Everyone can be seated.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is my summer look. Before I let the cadets introduce themselves this time, and tell them what they do, I just want to say thank you for letting us do this. 4 years now, 4 or 5 years at least. Wednesday we go meet at the Akron Library. This is the things the cadets do over the summertime for the Akron Children's Cerebral Palsy. We're going to help set up water guns that the cerebral palsy kids can use while they're in their wheelchairs, which I really want to see. This is going to be great. And then on the 15th Saturday, they're going to be doing the color guard for the Wounded Warriors amputee softball team at Rubber Ducks. And then on the 22nd of this month, they do the actual cerebral palsy clinic picnic at the Children's Hospital. So, excellent.
I'm Cadet Harris. I'm currently head of supply. I put in all the uniforms, the information in computers.
I'm Cadet Malchuk. I'm mail supply officer, so I hand out mail supply uniforms.
I'm Cadet Knight. I work in the armory. I take care of the rifles, make sure we have all of them, and make sure they stay in check.
I'm Cadet Everly. I am admin, which I put in personal information in the computer.
Color guard, Lieutenant. Left. Hits. Carry. Coast. Forward. Mark.
Thank you so much. At this time, community and school reflections. Would anyone like to begin?
I had the privilege to go to a press release and just an opening ceremony, I guess, for partnership between the YMCA, Akron Children's Hospital, Akron Public Schools, and Akron Urban League, I believe, are the partners on this. And it's a program to help prevent drowning of young people. I guess that is the leading cause of accidental death of children, young children. And it's interesting. I guess it started in Barberton. They're bringing it to Akron this year, but at some of the public pools around Akron, they're having swim classes for the children, as well as I know Akron Public School, I believe we're having them around. If nothing else, I know we're providing transportation for a lot of the children that are going to be going to the swim lessons. So it's a great opportunity for Akron Public Schools. Prevention of drowning in many ways is more important than what we do as far as early childhood education. If you don't become an adult because accidental death, everything we do is we're not. So great program. I hope it continues to expand because drowning is preventable.
Back on Tuesday the 27th, I attended the Mayor's Town Hall at Schumacher. And again, as always, a lot of good questions. This time there weren't very many school questions. They had other issues that there was more on their mind at this one. But I have, in going to a lot of them in the past, we've often been able to answer questions about the schools as they've arisen. So it's a good event. On Saturday the 8th, I was at the Wobble Parade, which Mr. Bravo was in as well with his son. But the nice part about that is that the Firestone Band did an excellent job. They led the parade. Obviously, there's a police and fire unit first, but they were the first group in, so they did an excellent job. And then they also played the Star Spangled Banner at the beginning of their meeting, so that well represented at that event. And later that day, I was for OSBA. I attended the Lake County Captain's Game, something Reno had put together, and the proceeds from that were going to go towards their book scholarship. And I have a card I want to send around because Reno ended up not being able to be there. He was in the hospital with vertigo, so I just thought we ought to send him wishes to get well. I think he's home now from everything that I've heard, but I thought it would be nice to send a card and hope he's on his feet completely. With vertigo, that could be soon. So.
Thank you.
I did attend an event at Akron Urban League as well. It's called Be Me, which is more like it's a mentoring type program for young and older males to help them and support one another in every areas of their lives and their endeavors, especially the young African American males who they're focused on. And they attend a conference every year that deals with a lot of various topics and subjects. And there were a few people that also, there were actually 5 people, I believe, that got an award for being more or less the individuals that are out there doing the work that needs to be done to help young men during this time. So I wanted to say congratulations to all the award winners because I couldn't remember all the names, but I wanted to congratulate them, and I thought it's nice to see some men in particularly doing some positive things for our young men to see as role models. So I wanted to give that organization a shout out because they did a really good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, we have no request to address the board for today. So communications and recognitions. So Karen Gijic has handed me some recognitions that we are going to do today. We have a special opportunity to recognize our resident educator program. Diana Gearhart is our program coordinator, and she's here. Hi, Diana. Thank you for being here. Our program supports our district focus at the foundational level, preparing skilled employees. And we have just received word from the Ohio Department of Education about several of our APS teachers and their progress in the resident educator program. So teachers leaving university are issued a 4-year resident educator license in the state of Ohio. Teacher residency is a requirement for all new teachers. And Akron Public Schools supports our teachers through the resident educator program as well as our peer assistance review program. So in their 3rd year of residency, teachers have to videotape themselves teaching and upload a video along with their plans and an explanation of the lesson for formal evaluation, and that evaluation determines whether or not their license will be advanced. And so and all of those are evaluated by an independent assessment company. So this past year in 2016-17, we have again increased our passage rate. 75% of our year 3 candidates were successful. And I believe, Karen, you told me that for Ohio, that's at 65%.
We're 65% last year, so we've exceeded the Ohio.
So good. So I want to say congratulations to our 6 resident educators who earned high distinction on their Resident Educator Summative Assessment, also known as RESA. And I'm going to ask you to step forward as I call your name. So I'm going to get up here. So first is Tanner Hughes. So Tanner was also given special recognition by the state of Ohio for his resident educator summative assessment team for scoring in the top 100 of 5,932 RESA candidates for 2016-17. Tanner earned perfect scores on 2 of the 4 tests. Congratulations.
Patrick, can they tell us?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I teach mathematics at the STEM high school.
Next is Joseph Nicolino, Garfield High School, Social Studies. That was on my paper. I just neglected to read it. Joseph earned a perfect score on one of the required RESA tasks. Thank you. Sierra Pichel.
Yeah.
See, I tried to add some flair. Forest Hill, 5th grade, and you earned a perfect score on one of your required RESA tasks. So congratulations. And Christina Rogers, Sam Salem, or is that Roger? Sam Salem, CLC Kindergarten, and you also earned a perfect score on one of your RESA tasks. We also had 2 that were unable to attend today. Megan Hauk from Miller South, Performing Arts, Special Education. Megan earned a perfect score on one of her required RESA tasks. And also Jessica Kager-Tozy from Krause CLC, who teaches kindergarten. She also earned a perfect score on one of her required RESA tasks. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for your hard work. Karen or Diana, did you guys want to add anything to the...
We appreciate the role of the board in leadership and in supporting the peer review and the resident educator program under the able leadership of Diana Gerhardt. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I think we should take congratulations as well to Mrs. Gigi, because she runs the program, and Diane, who does a great job of making sure everything goes to day to day. And I've been there, had opportunity to present and just watch what goes on. I thought it was an outstanding job, so I wanted to say thank you to them as well as those who are getting the accolades today for doing a good job in serving our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, with that, we will move on to approval of the meeting minutes for the regular meeting of June 26, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Otterman?
Yep.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes. Superintendent's recommendations.
Mr. President, I have before me for your consideration 56 personnel recommendations. Before your vote, I would like to have Kathy McVeigh provide an introduction of one of the candidates for your consideration.
Mr. Frame, if you would stand, please. Tonight I have before you Mr. Thomas Frame. He goes by Matt. Mr. Frame actually attended Ellett High School, graduated in 1989. And after graduation, he enrolled in the United States Marine Corps as a corporal and was also a petty officer with the United States Naval Reserve. He was a member of the elite CB unit where he trained and supervised troops in carpentry, plumbing, and masonry trades. Following his time in the service, he worked for about 3 years at Summit Racing and then came to Akron Public Schools in 1996 as a custodial worker. Through his 18 years of service, he worked his way up as an assistant custodian, then to a head custodian through June of 2014, at which time he was appointed as a supervisor for the Buildings and Grounds Department, where he has worked until tonight. In the board recommendations tonight is the retirement of Mr. John Beverlin, and we would like to recommend Mr. Frame to replace him in the coordinator role. Congratulations.
If I may address the board quickly, I'd like to say thank you. I'm honored, I'm humbled. This has always been my goal from day one. I can remember Mr. Frank Park was a coordinator when I first hired on in 1996. And I sat across his desk and he said, "What do you see yourself in 20 years?" And I said, "In years 5. So it's come to fruition now. So it's something I've always strived for. My main goal, my short-term goal right now is to have some fiscal responsibility and personal responsibility for all of our guys. I think with Mr. Boxler putting me in this position, I think we're heading in the right direction, and I think we can make a difference, and I see nothing but good things in the future. So thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. President, these recommendations are in proper form, and I move their approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the personnel recommendation? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Otterman?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes, abstain from item 35.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
I also have before me Supplement 1, reappointment of administrative personnel for 2017-2018. This recommendation is in proper form, and I move its approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on supplement number 1 for the administrative reappointments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Otterman?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Abstain.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Also, I have before me Supplement 2 for official certification of the 1,190 high school graduates in the June class of 2017. This recommendation is in proper form, and I move its approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions on the certification of 2017 graduates? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Otterman?
Yes.
And Mr. President, I have before me for your consideration 1 motion and 3 resolutions on the consent agenda. These recommendations are in proper form, and I move their approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or items for discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Otterman?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
And finally, Mr. President, I have before me for your consideration 13 business affairs recommendations. These recommendations are in proper form, and I move their approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the business affairs recommendations. Are there any questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, abstaining from item number 13.
Mr. Otterman?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Walsh?
Yes.
All right, superintendent's report.
No report?
No president's report tonight either. Treasurer's report.
No report.
Committee reports, legal contracts and board policy.
I have, for the third and final reading for approval, I have a new policy, procurement and use of Narcan in emergency, revised policy 3217 weapons, revised policy 4217 weapons, revised policy 7217 weapons, and I make a motion that we move for approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Is that a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or discussion? Mr. Arterman and Mr. Walker?
Yes, I'd just like to thank the board, whoever's going to support this. Again, I don't think it's a cure-all, but I do think it's an important element to try to have something available to help in case of an emergency, and hopefully we never have to use it, but if we do, then and it isn't available through the normal chain of command, the police and fire, that maybe be able to help somebody out. It could be somebody's kid, it could be your kid, it could be your neighbor's kid or somebody. I just hope it doesn't happen, but appreciate everybody's comments and input and support. Thank you.
Thank you.
My concern was to make sure that we have appropriate persons that are going to be distributing the non-con. And I think we talked about that before. And I think Sister Falks mentioned some things that we need to do prior to this being made totally clear. We have to get a declaration from the, if you want to share it with us.
The next round after your approval tonight will be the writing of the administrative guidelines. Those will include the plan for obtaining and administering these items properly when we are allowed to or necessary to do that. Our lead doctor sign-off will come through the Summit County Health Department, as they must approve our plan and review it annually, and we already have that assurance that that will take place. So we will be planning on putting those administrative guidelines together shortly. Thank you.
And there was a question as I came into the meeting that was handed to me. How many substitutes will manage, will we have substitutes managing the non-con? Or will they be trained in some sort of manner?
At this point, the plan is that our SROs, which are assigned to our middle schools and high schools who are already trained as part of their police duties, will be the people that will be carrying this on site. So therefore, they will be trained prior to walking into our building, and they'll know exactly where it is housed and where we will be able to have them secured upon their arrival and return it to us at the end of their shift. All right.
And I understand initially we will be given a free donation of the solution that we'll be using.
The Narcan is available through some resources at the high school level. We, however, will at the district level need to secure and purchase the items used at the middle school.
Okay. And that's roughly around $1,000?
Roughly, correctly, to cover the middle schools, and then we will make sure that our logs that are required for medical purposes obtain those items logged in and watch the expiration dates, as they do go out of date every 18 months, and get them on a proper rotation so that we could make sure that we dispose of them if they're not used, or if they are actually used, that we have a way to reoccur and resupply. A minimum of 2 will be available at each location. So therefore, if one is used by the SRO, there's still a backup already available in the building while we obtain another set.
Okay. And if you want to explain what the SRO is?
That is our safety resource officers, and we contract with the city of Akron to provide those through APD, which are regular police officers, and they're trained to be a resource officer in school situations, but they also have training to use these particular narcotic prevention materials, as when they're not with us, say in the summertime, they actually go back to the streets to do regular duty. Okay?
Other questions? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Otterman?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Walsh?
No.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Thank you. Finance and capital management. Instructional policy and student achievement.
Yeah, when we met this week, we had some interesting news. One, just to point out from tonight's agenda, we did have the creation of the director and coordinator positions for the college and career academy. So I think that's an important positions that are being created. Well, actually, they're going to come up at the next board meeting. It was available in our information. And then we also have some updates on the college and career academies. They have, the design team meetings have, we've already had the sessions for the early college. They've had both sessions, and the Firestone has had one of their sessions, so we're already in some very productive sessions. One thing I'd like to point out to the community, because a lot of these sessions ended up being during the day for availability, there will be a makeup meeting, all community informational meeting on Thursday, August 10th from 6 to 8. It's at Bookville, but every school will be represented and have their own room. So if you're from the Ellet cluster and you feel you want to find out about Ellet, you can still come to this Bookville meeting and learn about it. Or likewise any of the other schools. So it's the one evening event that a good chance to get the information and find out more about what will be going on within your own individual schools cluster. But currently the design teams are made up of teachers, administrators, families, and community partners, and the high school principals, in conjunction with their transformation team representatives, determine the team of teachers who will represent the school. So these are already starting and working, and the early college was very productive and very interesting.
STEM.
Yeah, STEM. Right. I put Mark on the wrong one. But it was STEM, and they had some very interesting ideas, and it tied in with what STEM was doing, but there was some creativity to what they came up with. So people are looking at what their students are interested in. And the schools have already done a lot of the background. They've had the student interest. So going into this, we know already what the students' interests lie into. So this will help, we get the information on what the jobs and the careers and everything that are available in the community and start making some excellent choices for our students. And then the other thing we talked about is just a quick update on the I Promise, but that really isn't any different than what we discussed at our last meeting, so no new update on that. And we also discussed the Home Care Act, Home Access Center, the Home Access Center, the HAC. I keep reading HAC, and then I'm like, I can't remember what that is. But there is, they're throwing up about how many students are accessing it from at home, as well as how many parents or guardians are also accessing it. So we're seeing some, student-wise, we're seeing some very high access in the middle schools and the high schools. In fact, the middle schools in many cases were higher than the high school. And it's still lagging on the guardians, but one of the things we thought about is that as some of our members who are parents said, it's much easier to remember one access, so they go in under their students. So some of these student accesses may actually be the guardians, but they are looking at that information. And I think that's it.
Great, thank you. Any unfinished business? Any new business? There is no need for an executive session tonight, so at this point, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. We are adjourned.
Concerning